record.
Hey, hello everyone. So we've finished our first week, um, and we are going to go ahead and get started with our weekly sync. So for this, the first thing we want to get started with is demos. So we're going to demo the changes that have been made, and talk through them a little bit, and familiarize ourselves with the code that everyone's been writing. So. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys which pair goes first. Um, who who would like to start? No volunteers.
Classic. This is like real work.
um. Hmm. Uh.
I can go ahead. Um, it might take a bit though because
Oh,
I
no worries at
haven't
all.
seen this code since Monday.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm still not super familiar with the code base myself. Got to so this will be as much a learning experience for me as everyone else.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. I don't even know what branch I'm on right now. I always forget that command that checks what branch you're currently on. How
If
do
you're,
you?
are you in VS Code?
Yes.
Bottom left, it should say. Does it not?
Oh, okay.
Far
Okay,
bottom
yeah, I
left.
see it.
Like it's
Okay.
tiny.
I see it. Yeah, at the footer basically.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Hey you guys, I'm gonna blow this up a bit. We're good? Can you see? Oh, that's too big.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the other teams right now. So, can somebody remind me how to, okay, sorry. Check out, what is my branch name? Uh,
Do you want me to show you the cookie way?
nav.
Or do you want to do it command line?
You can take out the main one if you want, because we already merged the changes to it.
Oh, right.
Right, and I also forgot to mention that
No.
it's that we want to try and test the changes in production if possible. So it's fine if you're on the main branch.
Okay. And how do you abort changes so that you can change
Um,
branches?
do get stash that will temporarily stash your changes, and then when you're ready to bring them back, just do get stash pop.
Okay, it says unlinked debug.log failed.
Hmm.
Can I just delete this?
Um,
I don't know why it's here. Like I feel like,
was that there before? Do you guys know?
yeah,
Is your debugger running?
Maybe if you go to the get part, like on the
ID, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, I'm
Perfect.
just gonna discard everything.
yeah.
Hurry up.
It's all good.
I
Things
swear
like
my
this
computer
will,
is usually faster than this. It just likes to embarrass me when I'm on a call.
yeah, no, things like this will always happen whenever you're demoing code.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's a standard. And at least half the time when you demo, everything like breaks and you're like, oh God, just the
Like,
cold sweat.
like hello.
Grumpy.
Yeah, I don't know why it's messing with me. Another git process.
Hmm.
Do you have other VS codes up? Looking at that
Yeah,
code?
should I
Yeah, just
get
kill them
rid of
all.
all of them? Okay.
Oh, why do you have so many VS codes up?
I was working on a
Oh,
project.
other things. Okay.
Yeah, for I don't know if you guys saw, but Airbnb has an apprenticeship and
Nice.
I wanted to apply, so
Cool.
Nice.
please stop. I
So
don't know
if
what
you
to
go
do.
into your command line and do, I don't know on Windows, I think it's Control C still. then usually that terminates
Oh yeah,
uh,
if there's
the
a
currently
process
running process.
Not
It's either
trying to revert.
Command C or Control C.
Control C.
It's a bug.
If you try doing git stash again from the thing, will it work now? There you go. Oh wait,
Oh, it
unlink.
failed. Yeah.
Just say no.
Okay. Hmm.
Unable to unlink.
Well, yeah,
What
like
if you just delete
whenever.
that file? Debug.log.
Okay. Okay. Ooh,
There you go.
okay. And you said to run it in production. So do
Do
I?
you not need to pull?
Oh, I don't think. Oh, okay.
I don't know what you got. Yeah, because checkout, you're just locally switching to main. But if
Mhm.
your main is out of sync with the remote's main, which is like further ahead, it won't
Mhm.
have it. So you just say, oh, well, sync up with the remote is what pull is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and do I need to run it?
So what you could do is talk through your changes, just like
Okay.
look at the code and talk through the changes that you made and then show. There's a link in the project brief, I think, to our demo app, the like production demo app that's deployed on Netlify, I think. And then you can just show like, here it is working in production. And that's sort of the general.
Also,
flow.
just for future reference, there's also a feature on GitHub where when you make a pull request, it generates a preview URL that you can find in the comments. It's just posted by a bot, and that way you can test out things, even if like if you want to test out a feature but you don't want to start up like a local dev server or something like that, it comes in handy.
Would you mind putting that in like Slack or chat or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, like it takes me a while to like process stuff.
No
So.
worries. Same here.
So I'm just gonna go through this.
Cool.
So Nina and I, we just use the navlink component, and we imported it from React Router DOM. And essentially we replaced what used to be navigation, the A tags with these navlink components instead. I added the class name so that the style is the same. And yeah, that's essentially it. And then I got these routes from, I believe, the app file.
Awesome.
Nice, good job.
Thank you. All right. And then I don't have the link to the project brief. I don't know why it's so hard for me to find it. I always have to
It's
go into my
in
emails.
No, it's in here. It's all caps. It's the file name project-brief.mb.
Okay. Ah, see
There you
it.
go.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
It's just like knowing where everything is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if
Yay!
you go to list, oh, that's weird. Did we? It's not pushed to production.
The change hasn't been merged yet?
I guess not.
It should have been merged, so I'm not sure why this
That's,
is not
yeah.
working.
I saw
What I thought.
Yeah, I saw two merge notifications.
And it says they're all closed.
It's working on my end when I click on that link. So try going back to the project brief and reloading it.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. All right, and you can see the list items here.
What was the fix there? Just to reload it?
Yeah.
It's like that sometimes.
Okay.
I swear
yeah.
the same thing happened to me once. I got this bug and I couldn't fix it, and then I just left because I didn't want to, go crazy in here. And I came back and started my computer back up, and it worked.
Sometimes it just fixes
Technology.
itself. It's really annoying.
And also initially I didn't read the criteria because I couldn't find it. So we use the link component instead, and we found that it also works. It's just it doesn't have this underline to show you what page you're on. So yeah, Nina pointed that out, and I thought it was interesting. That's all.
Awesome.
All right.
Nice. Fantastic work.
Yay. Well done.
Excellent. Okay, and now the next pair can go if you're ready.
Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen. Mm, Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yep.
So for our issue, we had to display each list items. So in the list component, we're receiving the data down as a prop. So within the unordered list, we mapped over the array. So each element in the array, we can return the list item component and pass down the property name, which has each list name down as a prop called name. And then within the list item component, it renders the name in between the li tags.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm really nervous. My voice is shaky.
No, that's
Oh,
awesome.
no worries.
You're doing great.
Thank you. So here, when you click on the list link, you can see each element rendered.
Fantastic. You guys are doing so great already.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome.
Well done, team.
Yeah, those demos are always nerve-wracking.
I still get nervous about demos at my job. It seems like every sprint I forget that we have to do demos, and then I'm reminded. I'm like, damn it.
Oh no.
I have a question. So
Okay.
is there a difference between doing stand-ups and demos?
Yes. So stand up, at least I'm assuming, because what we call a stand up at my job, I'm assuming it's the same elsewhere, is we just kind of like come together and talk about what we've been working on, and what we are planning to work on for the remainder of the sprint. So it's mostly just kind of like checking in with one another. Whereas a demo will usually happen during a sprint review. And it's just an opportunity to see the code in action and see how it works. Just so everyone knows like what the changes are.
Gotcha.
Cool. So the next thing on the agenda is the code reviews learning module. So please bear with me because I'm not very good at giving presentations. But I will try my best here. So, all right. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. So we're going to talk about code reviews. Code reviews are a really big part of any kind of engineering work. The goal is to make sure that everyone is familiar with changes that have been made to the code base and what those changes do. And code reviews really help us make sure that we're writing good code, and it's an opportunity for us to get feedback so that we can improve our code in the future. So the topics we'll be going over: what is a code review? The code review cycle, what makes a good code review a great code review, how can I help others review my code, how can I review others' code, and exploring code on GitHub. So, oops, sorry. Okay, so what is a code review? Essentially, a code review is a conversation that you are having with your team. It's an opportunity to share knowledge and learn from learn from one another. So it's a collaboration space. You get to share your work, ask questions, and the information gleaned from the code review can be used to help you improve as a developer and sort of help decentralize knowledge so that everyone is familiar with how the code works. It allows people to share responsibility and ultimately improves the code quality, because it's basically like QA. You've got a bunch of people coming together to make sure that nothing's been missed and that everything is as it should be. So this is a diagram of the code review cycle. So generally, a code review starts by opening up a pull request. I prefer to call them merge requests because that's what they are. You're requesting to merge the changes that you've made in your local branch into the main production branch. So when you open up a merge request, your team will review your code and also ideally test it out to make sure that it works the way it's supposed to work. And then based on their findings, they'll give you feedback. And from there, you can make changes to the code that you've written. Once those changes are made, you push them to your branch and the code is reviewed again. And the process repeats until everyone agrees that everything looks the way it should. And once the code is ready, it's time to merge. The branches will be flattened. The local branch that you created will disappear, and the changes that you made will just be merged into the main production branch. So what makes a code review a great code review? So the first thing is that you should try not to focus on stylistic changes. And that's difficult because, if there's a formatting error or something like that, obviously the instinct is to go in and change it, but we have tools for that. At my job, we use Prettier, which it basically allows you to instantly format your code on save, or however you want to do it, really. You can manually format it once everything is written. So things like missing semicolons, improper spacing, all of that can be fixed by any of these tools. And I believe that for this repository, if I'm not mistaken, there's a feature that makes it so that the code is automatically formatted when it's pushed, but I could be mistaken. That's just what I heard. So you also want to, if possible, try out the feature locally in a test environment. Like I said before, this is just to make sure that the feature behaves the way you expect it to behave. You want to make sure that you're going to understand the code a month from now, because generally when you're working in a code repository, the code is going to be revisited at some point. Code that you write now, other people and people on your team are going to need to come back to it in the future, and they'll need to be able to understand what it does and why it's there. Sometimes, just as an aside, there are situations where it might even be necessary to leave notes in your code just explaining what something does and why a change was made, especially if it's something that's non-standard, something that you wouldn't ordinarily do. It helps to have, just a note in there explaining why it was necessary in this particular use case. So if you are giving someone a code review, always be sure to praise them, tell them what they did right, default to approval, be kind and empathetic, and make sure that you help others understand your changes if it's your code that's being reviewed, or even if you're the one reviewing the code and you suggest a change, you want to make sure everyone understands why the change is necessary and what the goal in implementing it is. Try to answer all the questions and always take your time. So run the code. Like I said, you're going to want to ideally test the feature out locally in a test environment. So this gives you confidence. It gives you confidence that the code that's been written works as it's supposed to. It helps you find things that you wouldn't be able to find if you were just skimming the code. And in most cases, it's best for a merge request to include instructions on how to run the code. So usually that'll be part of the description. You'll just write down a list of steps for how to reproduce whatever behavior you're trying to test out in the feature, so that the person reviewing your code can run it on their end and make sure that everything's working properly. And if you're not sure how, always ask questions. It's a great learning opportunity, which of course is the point of any kind of code review. And how can you help others review your code? So again, add a meaningful description to your merge request. It's always good to be as thorough as possible. Explain what the change to the code base is, why it was made, how it was behaving before, and whenever possible, make sure that the commit messages that you're writing are also very meaningful. So this is something that I still struggle with, where like if you make a bunch of unrelated changes and then put them together in a single commit, sometimes it can be difficult to summarize what the change was, because it's all these different things. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you're constantly making new commits. So for each individual change, you want to make a commit for that change, no matter how small it is, so that you can keep your commit message succinct while conveying all the information that needs to be conveyed. Self-review your code, because two heads are better than one. If someone else is reviewing your code, obviously that's helpful. They'll most likely be able to catch things that you missed, but you may be able to find something that they might miss, just to make sure that the code has been examined as thoroughly as possible and smoothed out as much as it possibly can be. Be sure to explain why you did what you did. Again, especially if it's a change that is non-standard or not generally considered best practice. And ask questions, even if you're not the one creating the PR, because the goal is for everyone to understand what change has been made. And it helps to use screen capturing tools. This is another thing that I often do at work. A screen capturing tool can enable you to take a screenshot of a page or application, especially if it's a change that is visual in nature. You can show like a before and after to illustrate what the change was. And you can even record a video, which is very useful for situations where, let's say that you don't know how to describe the process of reproducing whatever feature you're testing. You can create a video showing, demonstrating how to test it out, just to make it easier on your team. And there's different applications and tools you can use for this. Obviously, I work at Zapier. I'm biased. I use Zappy. I think it's a fantastic tool. and it can do all of those things that I just described. So with all of that being said, let's briefly talk about exploring your code in GitHub. So you can explore commit by commit when you are when you have a PR open. You can navigate through all of the individual commits and see what changes were made to the code. And you can also see how much code was added and how much was removed. And again, the thing that I mentioned before is that when you open up an MR, a bot will generate and post a preview URL that you can use to test your changes, just in case you don't want to, just in case you don't want to run your dev server locally. And once a file has been reviewed, you can mark it as viewed, just so that everyone knows that it's already been looked at. So with all that said, I'd be happy to hear all of your thoughts. What's your experience been like in the past with code reviews, if you've ever had code reviewed before, or if you've ever reviewed someone else's code? How did it feel to do code reviews this week? And how's it felt, over the past week and in general to have code reviewed? So feel free to share any thoughts. And that concludes my presentation. Hope it was informative.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Xavier, for this. I do have a quick question.
Mhm.
You mentioned that on that second to last slide, that like when you have viewed the code, you can check it as viewed. Does it register as just you, the user, who viewed it, or would it register as like anyone viewed it on GitHub? I'm just curious. Would it just say like, oh, so many people viewed it kind of deal?
So I actually don't know the answer to that question, because I generally use GitLab instead of GitHub. But I would imagine that it would show the person who viewed it, but I could be mistaken. Megan, Jason, do you happen to have any insight on that?
Anytime you're doing reviews through GitHub, it says you. So the comments you make and the things you say are all linked back to you. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Cool. Any questions or comments from anyone else before we move on to the next thing?
All good.
Cool.
How did the code reviews go this week? Like, how did you all feel about it? If you like thumbs up, thumbs.
As a reviewer, is all pretty straightforward. So there wasn't a lot of contention, or this all looks good.
Cool. I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen, because the next thing we need to do is 1 second. Okay, can you guys still see everything?
Yep.
All right, so we are going to go over the issues for the upcoming week. So that's going to be issues 3 and 4. So issue number 3, as a user, I want to set up a new shopping list so I can start tracking purchased items. So let's look at the summary for this ticket. So it says, a shopping list is a set of items associated with a specific 3-word token. We need to allow users to start new lists so they can save the things that they need to buy. And to start a new list, we will need to do a few things. 1, generate a new unique token. 2, save the token to local storage. And 3, show the user the list view. So up to this point, the app has rendered the items in the list associated with the token my test list. And before we can allow users to make new lists, we have to stop showing them this test list. So let's look at the acceptance criteria. Okay, so this needs to be added as a dependency for the project. The string my test list in app.jsx needs to be replaced with null, so users are not automatically subscribed to any list if a user doesn't already have a token. A button in the home component should allow the user to create a new list. Clicking the button should generate a new token and save it to local storage using the setListToken function in app.jsx. And once the token has been created and saved, the user should be redirected to the list view. And if a user does already have a token, then they should automatically be redirected to the list view. And there are these notes down here. I won't really go into these. These are just kind of here for you to refer to as you are working on this user story. And issue 4, as a user, I want to add a new item to my shopping list so that I can start recording purchases. So users need to be able to add items to their shopping lists. To do this, the add item view should present them with a form that allows them to enter 2 things: the name of the item and an estimate of when they think they'll need to buy that item again. And there is a README file for the shopping list API that should be helpful as you continue to work on this. So the acceptance criteria for this user story for UI-related tasks, the first is the add item view should display a form that allows them to enter the name of the item and select how soon they anticipate needing to buy it again. And there should be 3 choices for this. Soon, corresponding to 7 days, kind of soon, corresponding to 14 days, and not soon, corresponding to 30 days. So the second AC is that the input that accepts the name of the item should have a semantic label element associated with it. The user should be able to submit this form with both the mouse and the enter key. And when the user submits the form, they should see a message indicating that the item either was or was not saved to the database. And for data-related tasks, the console log in the add item function in Firebase.js should be replaced with a function that adds the new document to the Firestore database. So that function will be imported from the Firestore module. And the user's soon, not soon, and kind of soon choice should be used to calculate next purchase date. And I believe those are the only issues that we are going to be working on in this upcoming week. Is that correct, Megan? Okay, cool. So that is all that I had on the agenda for today. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss while we still have some time? It looks like we have about 20 minutes left.
So one thing that we'll want to do is assign pairs for this week to each of these tickets.
Okay.
So if you go back to the project brief file, then it'll say what the pairs are for this week. Okay, so this is going to be week. Yeah, it's a little, it's off by 1. So we are now setting up the week 2 pairs.
Okay.
So that'll be, yeah, there you go.
All right, so Nina and Jeff for pair 1 and Jenna and Nisha for pair 2. Are we, so Megan, am I assigning them, am I telling them which user story each pair works on, or is that something that we leave up to the collabbies?
They can pick if they have preferences, but if not,
Okay.
you can also randomly assign them.
Yeah, if you guys have a preference, just let me know, and you can work on whichever user story you think would be most interesting to work on.
I think we can do the second one that you presented.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm just checking who is who's taking which user story. So you said number 4, Nina? Okay, so you and Jeff can work on number 4, and then Jenna and Nisha can work on number 3 if that's cool with everybody. Nice. Okay, and was there anything else that anyone wanted to share? Any thoughts on, how this past week went? Anything you're excited about going forward?
Did anyone want to see me just drive through a really quick review, like 2 minutes? Just how I use
Absolutely.
GitHub. Huh? Okay, so I created a little PR on the thing. So let's do this really quick. Just like, how does the tool work? So I made this PR and I just filled out what I need to fill out. Usually, like, this is like a template. Usually if there's parts of the template that have nothing to do with what I'm doing, I just delete it. So there's no craft. So
Can you
this
make
this
it bigger?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Thanks.
Is that better? Let's try that.
Yeah, and then even
Cool.
zoom in a little bit. Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. So this is my workflow. I always go to files changed. I get to see what's going on. Oh, that's cool. It's an all new file. And you can do cool things like okay, cool. Right. And then they get to see that after you're done. You can also do, this is a little more advanced, which is like, where can I do this? I don't know what I want to change here. I guess I can do this and go, you can go, yes, thank you. You can go suggest. So when you start working on big projects and the velocity is really fast and you want them to change something, but like anytime you're like in churn, it's like, it's hard to get back in and like make changes. So if you can make it easier for them, that's awesome. So this is a really easy way to make things easy for them. When you hit suggestion, you're going to create a commit. So you go, so on their side, when they come through the review, they say, oh, they just want me to change that, and they just commit it. They don't have to go back to their VS Code, change it, push it, and then do all that jazz. So I've made all my things, and then at the end, you just go to the right side and you finish your review. And these are just different ways you do it. Oftentimes when I'm doing things, like I'm reviewing my own stuff, so I can't do this. Oftentimes when I'm reviewing stuff where it's like, oh, this is a huge error and it's going to cause a big problem, I click on this, and that's like, hey, you know what? Go through these things and resolve all these comments I have, but I want to look through it one more time. But most often, the normal thing to do is hit approve. And what's going to happen on their side is you're going to have all these comments, and they're going to take it upon themselves to manually like click resolve on these things. And when they're done clicking resolve, it's been approved. And that's sort of the normal flow. That's it. Cool.
Cool. And of course, we understand if you guys don't have any specific questions or comments, that may come as you continue to work on this project. So we just want to make sure that you guys know that we're all here for you in case you have any questions or any confusion about how to proceed. And great work. You guys did an amazing job, and we are eager to see what else you have to work on.
Cool.
Yeah, so if there's nothing else, I suppose I can let you guys have the next 16 minutes back. And yeah, if you have any questions, just hit us up on Slack, and we'd be happy to answer them.
I just wanted to share something real quick with the team. I'm going to be, it's in regard to next week's weekly sync. I should be there with no issues, but last minute, I'm going to France next Monday.
No sympathy.
Fun.
No sympathy. Sorry.
Like, I don't know how to say this. It literally happened like yesterday. Going to see my family. So I plan on having like doing everything as usual, but I just wanted you guys to know that that's going on if like it's super late or early whenever we meet next week. So yeah. So that's, I just want you guys to let you know.
No worries. It's like real life, right? People go on PTO and then just make sure that you coordinate with your pair so that everything's
Yeah,
ready
absolutely.
to demo.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have fun. That
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
Thank you. But I should be there. It's not like I don't know. Yes. So
Just in case the jet lag is too much.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
We hope
Thank
you have a good
guys.
time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that concludes our weekly sync. I hope that was informative for you guys, and looking forward to seeing you all again next week.
Awesome.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.